Pretty incredible how far we've come in 1,400 days. Building this dream homestead of ours is probably the most difficult thing we've ever had to do in our entire life. But although we've had several challenges, it has been fun. It has been an amazing learning experience, and we wouldn't change a thing. It's interesting to think about the 4 years that we've been on the property in a matter of days, 1,400 days. That sounds like a really long time. It was back in late July of 2020 that we took possession of our 90-acre paradise here in the Canadian wilderness of Horseshoe Valley, Ontario, Canada. How you doing, folks? Chad here, and welcome to the Hidden Spring Farm. Let me just let the claw crew out. You're gonna come out and work the farm for me today? Let's go. Go do your job. It's really incredible to believe that we've been here for 4 years, 1,400 days. I'm amazed. I'm gonna tour you around the farm today, and as we approach each of the animal houses, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a history as to how it started and how it got built and everything. And we'll let all the animals out for the morning, and it's going to be fun. So come along. Hey, Dexter. You're always coming up for hugs, huh, buddy? Junk? You being a good boy? Back in the fall of 2020, pretty much a few months after we got our property, I started building the state-of-the-art ultimate ducky bunkie. It's this A-frame structure, and it houses all of our khaki Campbell ducks. It has a 30-foot run, and it was the first structure that I built on the farm, first animal house that I built on the farm, and the ducks have been living in here ever since, and they seem to enjoy it. And then the following summer, I started free-ranging the ducks out in our mini orchard. Let's just go ahead and get the duck parade going out into the orchard. That's always fun. The following summer, we built the goose caboose to house the 4 Emden geese. I just thought it'd be funny if I made a caboose because it simply rhymes with goose. It stands out in the orchard because of the beautiful red, and it was fairly simple to build. It's only about a 4x12 in size, and I always like to make any animal structure tall enough for me to walk into so I don't ever bang my head. The run itself is 8 feet wide by 10 feet long, so it's more than enough space to have 4 geese. I don't think we ever plan on keeping more than 4 geese year over year, so this will do just fine. I always classify the ducks and the geese as working animals on the farm because they do have jobs. A quick explanation is that the ducks eat the insects, which protects the orchard and the pasture, and they also give us eggs and meat if we choose. The geese also give us eggs and meat if we choose, but they eat the grass. Their diet is mainly consisting of grass all through the non-winter months, and they also guard the ducks from aerial predation and maybe some smallish type predators too, and like fox and raccoon, maybe some weasels, because nobody messes with a goose. And in addition to all of that, both of these birds are fertilizing the entire orchard area all while they're out and about. And then just this past spring of 2024, this year, I built them this pond. We were just using these tiny water bins, which had outgrown its usefulness. So I decided to splurge on a EDPM liner and make an actual pond. Turned it into a wicked awesome little ecosystem that the ducks and the geese can swim in, drink from, attract natural wildlife, and make a nice ecosystem there in the middle of our orchard. The ducks and the geese have in fact been enjoying it, and I have also been enjoying it because I don't need to spend my time standing there with the hose to fill up the water bins. It's been great. It's a beautiful attraction in the orchard, and I'm so happy that I was able to build this little pond. The property did already have these antique apple trees. Mind you, they didn't look like that. We did a complete hard prune the second summer we were here, and they're only giving fruits every other year. But we started planting this orchard in the first summer that we were here in 2020, and we started with a few more apples and a few pears and a few plums. And every year since then, we've been adding a few trees here and there. And we're now up to a total of 44 trees. And I think we're getting close to where we'll finally end up. That's a lot. If all of these trees end up producing full harvests, we're going to have so much fruit we won't know what to do with it. One of the great things I look forward to with an orchard is that you do all this hard work, you plant all these things, you prune them, you're watering them, you're caring for them, and if you're successful, you will literally have food for decades to come. Decades! And my wife and I have decided not to let any space out here go to waste. So we're on our third year of attempting to grow corn, watermelon, cantaloupe, and pumpkins, and it looks like we're getting close this year to being successful with the corn, although we've failed the past few years, and it's looking exciting. And adjacent to the orchard here, I built a 100-foot garden. This garden is in total approximately 5,000 square feet, and it's basically my wife's dream garden. We've always been city people. We've been city people for most of our married life. It's just these past few years where we've moved out to the country and we're starting to build this homestead. And gardening is one of the top things that my wife wanted. And I'm so pleased to be able to help her with fulfilling her dreams. I fenced in this entire garden just to keep the sheepdogs out and maybe any small type predators, maybe deer. I mean, they can probably jump over the fence if they really wanted to. But we haven't really had any issues with wildlife eating our fruit, so that's been a plus. But after 2 full years of failed gardening, we switched to a raised bed system, and we've been slowly designing and adding on to year over year this raised bed system. And I built all these raised beds myself. We brought in some fresh soil and whatnot, and last year we had the most amazing harvest, and this year we're probably going to have a decent enough harvest, although the spring wet weather put a little damper on the early growth. But the garden has been making a comeback, so we have tomatoes growing, we have eggplants, lots of onions, garlic, radish, carrots, beans, long beans. Chunk, you okay, buddy? I see you over there. And just this summer, I installed this drip irrigation system, so it's been working pretty good. I have this half of the garden all completed, but I still need to work on this half of the garden, and it's a lot of work. It's very time consuming, but I'll get to it because it's going to automate our system here and give us some more free time to do other things instead of standing here hand watering 5,000 square feet of garden beds. You know what I'm saying? You want to play with Bruce and Kathy's Kong? Okay, ready? Looks like the cats aren't working very hard today. They're all just hanging around. There's Mango. You see, if you look at it, Mango, Dexter, Fozzie, Chunk. Well, he just went underneath. These are our 4 boys. Who knows where the girls are? They're probably better hunters than the boys. The absolute second animal we got on the farm after the ducks was chickens. But then, of course, I needed a place to house these guys. So I decided to build a state-of-the-art 7-coop octagonal chicken house and called it the Chateau du Poulet. And it was pretty difficult to build. I've never built anything like it, but it's got 7 coops, so I can keep the birds separate so that we can continue to breed the purebred lines instead of having barnyard mixes. And I think overall it worked out okay. It has a few challenges, and I've learned a lot while building it. I would probably do it a little bit different if I was to do it again, but that's what homesteading is about. Living it, building it, and learning from all your mistakes. Now just last year, which is 2023, I finally built them a chicken yard. And this obviously allows us to free range the birds during the daytime without them having access to the entire farm. I built this nice gate that you see behind me because I want to still be able to get my little John Deere tractor in here, because I built that compost area so that we can really start collecting all the manure of all the animals, collecting all the leaves and all the grass, and really start producing our own composted manure soil. And it too has been an extreme work in progress, learning curve, and we're not great at it yet, but we're well on our way to developing those skills too. And then I decided to build the security goose booth, and this basically will allow us to keep geese out in the chicken yard to protect the chickens from aerial predation too, just like the system that we have in the orchard. You guys want out? Okay, let's go. Let's go, guys. Each one of our flocks here has a rooster, and that just allows us to hatch chicks if we want. We can sell hatching eggs along with all of our fresh eggs. Look, there's wild turkeys up there. It's as close as I can zoom it in. Look at Chunk hiding with all the chickens there. What are you doing in there, Chunk? You enjoying the shade with the chickens? Dexter, you better go get Chunk. You better go get Chunk. He's gonna get beat up by Big Red. You gotta save him. Just touching back on the topic of food again. It's been a few years now that we started a blueberry patch. Over the past few years, we've planted a bunch of different high bush varieties, and now we're up to 40 blueberry bushes. They're still relatively small, but again, this is something that should provide us with food for decades to come. This past spring, we decided to develop a miniature vineyard and a blackberry raspberry patch. Back in the summer of 2022, we decided to get a mini pig. We named her Billy. She's a tiny little Juliana mini pig. And then we decided to get her a friend, and his name is Bobby. He was really tiny as well. Whoa! But they grew up to be amazing companions and great additions to the farm. And they had a litter of piglets, which we didn't really expect right away. Obviously, I needed to separate the boys so that we don't have a continuous flow of piglets. But I was there for the entire birth of these piglets. It was an incredible experience, and I had never experienced anything like it before. So we sold a bunch of these piglets. We ended up giving a few of them away, and all was well. Billy! I see ya! What are you doing? You okay? You okay, Billy? You're okay, right? You're happy to see me? Bubby, you okay, bud? You're not too hot? And since we were getting so super involved in gardening and learning a little bit more about compost and how to regenerate your soil and build up your own composted manure, we decided to get rabbits. Rabbits have the unique ability to poop cold. And that means that their little round pellets of odorless poop do not need to compost. They can just be added into your garden soil immediately without having to sit for a while. And it's just an amazing fertilizer for the garden. I decided to build them a little bunny barn that has 2 stalls. 1 stall for the females and 1 stall for the male, because bunnies will breed like crazy. And you'll just end up with an unlimited amount of baby bunnies, and you don't want that. You want to keep it under control. So their buck is separate, but they have access to the outside rabbitat area, which gives them fresh air, and they can just run around and hop around and climb and chill out and do all the things that a rabbit wants to do. They cannot dig out of here and escape because I put a fencing in the ground and then covered it with soil. So that was a really, really good move because rabbits love to dig. There goes Dexter. I think Fozzie's stuck in the garden. I locked him in there. Fozzie, you can jump over the fence, you know. What, are you too fat to jump over the fence? Come on, Fozzie. Let's go, buddy. Oh, Maggie's in there. That's why. Maggie! This here is our barn cat catio, and this is the barn cat cave. We built this catio right after we lost a couple cats to predators. We made a whole bunch of jumps in here, but we decided to protect the cats at night, and we made it comfortable in here. They have a whole bunch of catwalks. They have like a hammock, and I put some logs in here, and there's climbing apparatuses. They have a litter box in here. They got the barn cat barn. What are you doing, Chunk? You coming back in here? You're just tired out, huh? It's too hot today, huh, buddy? Too hot? There's Bubbles in there. You okay, Bubbles? I'm not gonna stick my hand in there, okay? You can see inside the cat cave, we have a bunch of areas for them to sleep in and hide. And we have catwalks and jumps and seats, and each one of those have a heated bed. We have a cat tree in here. There's more stumps for them to climb up on. They like sitting by the windows, but they also like coming up here and going up over the catwalk and sleeping up there. They have a heated water bowl. They have heated cat tents for the winter time. You know, lots of beds, lots of places to hide and sleep. They have trees in here to climb up so they can keep themselves entertained. And I do think that the cats enjoy their time while they're in here. And I mean, protecting the cats at night has become awfully important to me because losing cats to predators is just gut-wrenching and heartbreaking, and it's so we've been training the cats for a few years now to come in when I call, and it's not a perfect system, but it does work 95% of the time, maybe. Dexter! They each have kind of a different sound, you know? Chunk! That's more like a foghorn sound. Maggie! It's difficult to say that, you know, so I get used to it. I like it. I think it's fun, and I like the satisfaction that I get when the cats actually listen. Maggie, you want to go in? Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. Tango. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. Yes. I see you, bud. Come on. Let's go. Time to go to bed. Mango. Mango. Let's go. Good boy, Mango. Get your treat. Come on. Come and get your treat. Oh, that's too many. That's too many. Okay, that's for you. Here, Chunk, you want somebody? Here. Bubbles here is the one cat that doesn't really go out on the farm. She's just a scaredy cat, and I'm worried that I can't get her back because she's so skittish. Oh my gosh, the three boys are right here, Fozzie, Dexter, and Chunk. They're not hunting, they're not doing their job. I think it's too hot today because it's a heat wave in Ontario right now. They're so funny though. I don't mind. They're my great friends, my great pets. I love them to death. And if they don't catch any mice today, it's like, oh well, you know, the farm will deal with it and survive. Late 2023, I began building a new workshop for myself. It's not really that big. It's 26 feet by 26 feet. And it's just to house me and my tools and my gear and all my stuff. I put a little wood stove in there so I can keep warm during the winter, and it's a pretty cool space. Right beside it, I'm going to be building up the ultimate wood yard. So I just finally bought a sawmill. It's a Woodland Mills HM 136 Max sawmill, and it is amazing so far. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And just this past spring, we ended up getting some turkey chicks, and they've been a lot of fun, although difficult to raise. They just don't survive very well. But we got this turkey tower built for them, which is a very tall house because turkeys like to roost up high. And the turkey trot, which is their run, it's more than enough space for a few turkeys. We don't plan on keeping a huge flock of turkeys. So far, these turkeys have been living a decent life inside the turkey tower here, and they're getting a little bit big. It's nice to see them growing. Building up a homestead like this is not all rainbows and unicorns, though, you know. There are a lot of tragedies and tough times, and it's just about trying to pick ourselves up and get back on the horse, so to speak, and continue for strive for excellence and self-sufficiency on this little homestead. How you doing, buddy? You okay, Dex? You okay, brother? It's been really great to take you around today about our first 1,400 days. That's 4 years on this property. And boy, I feel like we've accomplished so much. An unbelievable amount. I look back and I think to myself, how did we even do it? But I mean, it's been a lot of work, a lot of perseverance and strength and stamina to keep pushing through and keep developing our dream bit by bit by bit. And if you'd like to continue following our journey in developing our dream homestead and the Hidden Spring Farm, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Please click the like button, leave a comment, and that helps tell the YouTube algorithm to send this video to viral oblivion. All us creators need is a few videos that just take right off, and we'll get showcased to the world. People will click and subscribe, and of course we couldn't do any of that without you subscribers and viewers and supporters, and it's been really great. I appreciate every one of you, and we'll see you on the next episode, okay? And if you're really curious about how I actually built this state-of-the-art Chateau du Poulet chicken house, I'm gonna put the video up on the screen, and it's basically like a time-lapse recap of the entire build. And it's pretty cool, I think. So I implore you to give it a watch. Thanks so much.